Hi, in this video we're going to talk about the dangers of overthinking and how we can change our thoughts quickly so that we can change our feelings quickly. So in other words, our thoughts dictate our feelings. So if we feel, or rather if we think very positive thoughts, it will lead to positive feelings. So that's why it's so important for us to think good thoughts and try to minimize the bad thoughts wherever possible. So anyway, when I was reading a book or watching a video recently, I came across this quote which says something like this: our biggest problem is that we believe our thoughts. I thought it was quite profound. And the thing about human beings is that we have about 70,000 thoughts running through our minds every day. So this can be rather overwhelming, and some of these thoughts can be good and some of these thoughts are not so good. So whether our thoughts or most of our thoughts are good or not so good depends on our lifestyle. So if we tend to consume media which is more negative, for example, if you watch a lot of negative TV shows or even if you watch too much news, I know this is a bit controversial to say, but if you watch too much news which tend to focus on war, suffering, poverty, economic crisis and all of that stuff, then the program in our heads is going to be something of a something negative in nature. So that's why if we can try to limit the consumption of negative media wherever possible. And the tune of our thoughts also depends on our environment. So if we tend to hang out with people who complain a lot, or people who always talk about how bad the economy is, or how lousy people are, or people who tend to whine a lot and all of that not so good, all of those not so good topics, then of course all these will affect the channel or the program that we have in our minds as well. So naturally, if possible, we try to spend more time with people who are more positive and who are more encouraging in nature. This is a little bit tricky because if we have family members, or if you tend to have good friends or family members who are a bit more who have some challenges in this area, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to spend less time with them. Well, these are your good friends and these are your family members, right? You can it's not easy to just cut off the time that you spend with them. But if you tend to be surrounded with people who are more negative in nature, maybe you can be a positive influence on them. Maybe instead of complaining or whining along, maybe you can talk about something that you're happy about, something you're grateful about, or just encourage your friends and family when they are going to embark on something new. Be more inspiring, be more encouraging, and be less negative in that aspect. So if you can't, if we can't change people, we can change ourselves. So that's one way we can affect our environment in some way, in a small way. So what can we do? As I mentioned earlier, our thoughts control our emotions. So whether we feel hopeful or fearful, or whether we feel positive or not, depends on what we are thinking up here. And for us, it's important for us to choose our thoughts wisely. So I will give you a personal example. A few days ago, my baby was crying non-stop at night. It was about 10 p.m. and she refused to sleep, and she was crying, and she was just very cranky. And that made me cranky. And if you are a new mother, you will know how that feels. If you're a new mother, you realize that sleep is very important to us. And sometimes our baby's moods affect us, and vice versa. So anyway, she was cranky, I was cranky, and I was having I think about 10,000 thoughts in my head. And a very strong thought which was quite pervasive was this very negative thought: oh no, she's going to cry the whole night, I'm not going to have enough rest, I'm going to be cranky the next day, I'm going to be in a bad mood. That thought was very, very strong in my mind. And I forcefully rejected it. I tried to follow this advice which I saw online as well, something along the lines of we can choose, or we should choose our thoughts wisely. So I rejected that thought very forcefully. And the interesting thing was that the moment I rejected that very negative thought, more positive ones started coming up. So once I rejected that thought, a more positive thought came up. Something along the lines of, oh, this is just a temporary phase. She's going to stop crying in 10 minutes. She's going to fall asleep. Don't worry. So I accepted that more positive thought, that more empowering thought, and instantly I felt calmer. I felt more level-headed. So when I was calmer and more level-headed, my baby could sense it, my daughter could sense it, and to cut a long story short, my catastrophizing thought, my very negative thought did not happen after all. So this reminds me of a quote from Mark Twain, which goes something like this: I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Yeah, so when I'm relating this story to you, it reminds me of that quote from Mark Twain. So anyway, that was just a very simple example. If you have a better example, maybe you can type it down in the comment section below. And so the point I'm trying to make is that if you choose your thoughts carefully, if you reject negative thoughts and just accept the more positive thoughts in your life, it will make you feel better almost instantly. And if you make it a practice in your daily life, you will feel good you'll feel good every day. This is not easy because this takes some practice. It's not something you can master overnight. And I myself am still practicing it on a daily basis. And in order for you to stick to this routine, you have to keep reminding yourself every day, choose a more empowering thought, choose a more positive thought, reject all those thoughts which don't help you at all. Only choose thoughts which are beneficial for you and which will help you and which will serve you. That's it. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit choppy. I'm not going to edit it in any way. I'm just going to post it online. So that's it for today, and have a good weekend.